Good morning, everyone. Today for the Photoshop Cert Prep Activity 2, we're going to be working with text. And so you have the instructions, the written instructions open. That's what we're going to be working through. And the first thing we're going to do is start off with a section labeled text. And to start, you're going to need to create a new file. So if you haven't done this yet, what you need to do is go to File, New, and on the new window that opens, we want to go over here and choose inches, which mine is already selected, has inches selected, and I'm going to make sure it's not pixels, because if you do pixels, it will be tiny. 8.5 pixels or 5 pixels is very small. So for the width, we want to choose 5, and the height, we want to choose 7. And what that's going to do is we are going to see, if you click Create, a portrait-oriented page. And so the next thing we need to do is we need to change the foreground color to a color of our choice. So for the foreground color, I'm going to choose this like light blue. And the next thing is if you press Alt Backspace on your keyboard, that's an easy way to fill up your entire background with whatever your foreground color is. So Alt Backspace is a little shortcut. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to go to the T tool here, and we're going to, if you hold down your mouse on that, you'll see horizontal type tool. That's the default, so we're going to do that. And then we need to click on the canvas somewhere. And what you'll notice is we get the cursor here, but we're going to have to change the color in a minute, because what's going to happen is you're going to end up having the same color for your text as your background. So if I type in Jeter, because that's what the instruction is to type your name, I'm not going to see it. So if I double click while I have that cursor available and then go up to the top here, I can now change the color to something else, and it says a complementary color, so we want something that's the opposite. And we can also change the font to whatever we like. So I'm going to change my font to something different just to show you. I'm going to do Cooper Black. And I can also change the size up here. So I'll change that to 72. And if you go over to the side over here, if you don't see this A, what you need to do is go to Window, Character. But once you see that, that's what's going to pop up. And if you look, there's this little thing on here that has a like AV with a double pointing arrow underneath it, and this is where you can change the tracking, kerning, and the leading for your text, which these are just ways to space out your letters. So if you click on the actual icon and drag it, you can get a quick way to change your space between your letters. Now if you're using the one that has the B with a little slash between that and the A, then what that is called kerning, and that's just the space between two letters. So if you just wanted to adjust one little part of your text, that's how you do that. Alright, so you can spread the letters out, try that out, and then the next thing we're going to do is we are going to go back to the text tool, hold down the mouse, and choose vertical type tool. Now make sure you're not doing the mask tool, because that's just to do selections. The vertical type tool with the solid T is what we want, and if you click and then type your name again, you'll notice it does an up and down thing. Now I don't recommend doing this typically, like using vertical text. It's not really stylish anymore, I guess. I mean, first of all, and then second of all, it's just poor design. I mean, people tend to read left or right, and then up to down, across, left to right, left to right, left to right. So when you're creating something for people to see, sometimes it's better to stick with the conventional ways of expressing or writing text. All right, so I have Jeter pointing down. That's called stack letters, and it says in the instructions, like reiterating what I just said, stack letters aren't typically used. And every time you create a new text layer, you can see it over here on the right, and that text over here is creates a new layer. That's a vector layer, meaning I can resize it without losing quality. So the bigger I get, does not matter. All right, so I got that. Now go ahead and save what you got here. File, save as, and we can just call it text. Make sure you put it in your documents. I'm going to call my text Jeter example. And then when you hit save, click OK. Remember, keep it in a Photoshop format if you want to keep the layers. Otherwise, it's going to flatten everything. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to open up the file called vacation. And yours is going to be located in Classroom. Mine is located in a different spot. So I'm going to go ahead and download it really quick. And I'm going to show you a quick and easy way to open a file if you have it located in a folder like this. And that is if you click and drag, but drag it up to the gray area up here at the top, that's going to open it in a separate window from whatever you have open. So you get another tab there. So we're opening up vacation. You'll notice if you've ever seen it, that's the Griswold family. So what we're going to do is go back to the text tool. We're going to choose horizontal type this time and type Griswold family vacation. Notice it's kind of big here because my font size is bigger than the image size. Will allow for me to fit everything in there. So what I want to do is resize this. So in order to do that, I can go Control-T on my keyboard, or I can go Edit Free Transform, get this bounding box, and I can resize it, and I can place it wherever I want. So I'm going to put it down here, and now I can read the letters, of course, and then I want to change the font to Broadway. So I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to go up here and find Broadway. And then I'm going to choose 24 for the font size. And if you look over here, it says sharp. I'm going to keep it as sharp. That's just the way it renders the letters. And it says, find a place somewhere around the people in the image so that it's not it's not creating an obstruction of their face or any important things that we need to see. Now, if you're doing a family photo, it could be down here at the bottom. It could be above it, just as long as it doesn't obstruct somebody's face. So, anyways, I'm going to then find some sort of color so that I can make it stand out. So what I'll do is I'll highlight this, and I'm going to go with, I don't know, maybe red. And it says if I want to have have four text layers on this file. I don't know why that says that. Never mind. Just skip that hint. I'm not sure why I guess if I did Griswold Family Vacation as separate things, I could do it that way. I'm going to go to, I'm going to go back in here. I want to show you one other thing really quick. If you go down to FX, I showed you this previously, but you can add in different effects. to your text to give it a little bit more style. So I'm going to do that really quick. I'm going to do a drop shadow, and I'm going to make it so that it's a little bit closer to the text, and then I might add a stroke. Give it a stroke, you can make it so it's an outer stroke, and that gives it a little outline. So I have that, and then I'm just going to click OK, and then go to File, Save As, and then change it into a Photoshop format. Keep it as that. I'll call it My Vacation, and then save it to my documents. So that is the playing with text portion. Now the next portion, you're going to be creating a Wordle, and I really have given you all the tools you need to be able to do that, so I'm not going to give you any instruction with that, except for I will say when you use the free transform and the move tool, if you go to edit free transform, you can actually go to the edge and rotate things. So if you want to have things at a diagonal, at an angle, you can do that. And when you're creating a Wordle, word cloud, consider how size works to make things emphasized. So if you want to bring more importance to something, make it bigger. Or if you want to create unity, make certain things all the same color. Like if you're doing different, if your topic is different musical instruments, you could have all of the string instruments be yellow, and you could have all of the percussion instruments be red. But whatever you end up choosing, think about things like maybe favorite TV shows, favorite actors and actresses, favorite musicians, favorite bands, something like that, and create a Wordle with at least 25 words. And if you go ahead and pause this now, I'm going to, when you're done with your Wordle, you can come back and watch the rest of this video, and that is so that you can create the last part, which is the text following a path. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. We go to File, New, and again, I'm going to create a new file. This time I'm going to actually rotate. I'm going to go Image, Image Rotation, and I'm going to make it 90 degrees clockwise. And for this, what you want to do is use the pen tool, which you have experienced in Illustrator by now. And I'm going to try to make a heart. And the person who made the one on this example did a pretty cruddy job, but it's alright, we'll forgive them. But anyways, I have made my heart. And once I do that, I can go back in if I need to and go to the pen tool down here and choose Add Anchor Point if I need to add points in order to be able to move things around or fix things. But I'm not going to bother with that because I don't really need to. And the next thing that we're going to do is go to the T tool, and if you hover along that path somewhere and start typing, I'm going to just type a bunch of gibberish. Maybe. Wow, hold up. That didn't work. Let's try this again. I'm going back to the text here. And there we go. Okay, so I'm going to type a bunch of gibberish. Notice there's this little thing down on there that, like this little mark down here that seems to be holding me back from continuing my text along here. So what I need to do is, I believe, go to direct select. No. Okay. Bear with me here. Alright, let's try this again. I am going to go to my pen tool. I'm going to make my heart. And I'm going to go with a smaller font size. Maybe that's the difference. And Just click along here. There you go. So you can always go back and redo things if you need to. Now notice, there we go, it goes all the way around. I just typed a bunch of gibberish. And that's basically how this works. So you can try other tools, other shapes and things, and it will give you the same results. If you start typing around it, you can actually use that to create text in the shape. So I'm going to go to Files, Save As, and call this text on path. You can call it what it says in there, heart, whatever, but basically it's text on the path. And then save that near my documents, and you are done for the day. So there you go.